Good afternoon everyone. Today we've got a bit of more sort of an odd video here. We've got sort of a double look at two very different budget watches but very similar finish on the face. So we've got the Rotary Regent chronograph and the Rolex Airking 114200. So it's my very own one. Yeah. So let's take this one out so we can compare them at face value. Not going to unbox it or anything like that. I'm just going to keep it in its keep it out of its wrapper and box. A quick wipe over so we can not catching anything that we don't need on the light. So here we go guys, this is a little sort of a double look at two very similar blue navy sunray dials in terms of colour. So we've got the Rotary Regent chronograph on the left with the Rolex Airking 114200 on the right. So in terms at sort of face value, you notice that the Rotary Regent is much bigger. So the Rotary Regent is 41mm, whereas the Rolex is 36, I believe. I'm going just based on memory. I can't remember what they were for the Rolex. The Rotary is obviously much thicker, but then one thing to point out here is the price differences in terms of these watches are massively different. They're probably about, yeah, the Rolex costs probably about £4,500 more. So the Rotary Regent, that probably weighs 142 grams, and the Rolex Airking is very sort of similar in that way. It's but then the bulk of this comes from the actual casing, and this does feel quite a heavy watch in general, despite the fact it's only a small watch, but the Rotary does feel a little bit bigger. So as you will notice here, they both got a sort of a sunray dial, but the Rotary has a bit more of a polished finish, a brush finish on the actual ring that surrounds that face there. As you can see, the Airking's just got a plain metal polish finish on that ring, obviously with lots of scratches from where I've been wearing it over time. Obviously the Rotary has that chronograph as well, so you do want that functionality as well. I feel like the Rotary pops out at you a bit more because of that polish finish on the piece there surrounding the face, but obviously the Rolex Airking, you're paying obviously for the brand as well and their sort of history and stuff like that. The strap, the idea behind the strap looks a bit more sort of unique, but the Rolex is a bit more sort of well known, a bit more sort of contemporary, used quite a lot in terms of design, has a lot more sort of inspiration behind it. Obviously you've got a chronograph with the Rotary, so you don't have that with the Rolex Airking, but it's nice to sort of compare two sort of watches that are opposite ends of budget but same sort of dial, to see if you're sort of worth paying out the extra one. And I'd say yes, I'd say skip the Rolex. I'd say definitely get this Rotary, because if I didn't have this, I probably would have added this to my collection, because it's a really nice sort of contemporary design, looks more expensive than it actually is, and yeah, it's even got a butterfly clasp as well, which is usually a good quality style finish, but then usually Rotary is a good brand to go for anyway. You also notice that the markers on the Rotary, all of them are pretty much luminous, whereas only some of them are luminous on the Rolex Airking, but then that's part of the unique touch for the watch itself. So there we go guys, that's just a quick look at two navy sunray style dials of two opposite ends of budget. I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you on the next video.